a quick story for all of you, and this is a story from a village which is very close to Gokul, and there's a lady there who lives there by the name of Anandi Bai. Anandi Bai is unfortunately extremely bad looking, and to the extent that it's difficult to even tolerate her face, that bad. But anyhow, her parents get her married, and the husband is from Gokul. She comes from a smaller village close to Gokul. So when she goes with her husband to Gokul and he sees her face for the first time, he's terrified and he refuses to live with her, and he says that I was not told I was being married to such an ugly woman, and I don't want you at all around me. So he throws her out of the house, and she doesn't know where to go. So there is a small thatched hut in a corner. She just starts living there with her Krishna. So she has an idol of her Krishna which she always keeps with her, and she keeps Krishna there, and she just spends her days and nights singing for him, cooking for him, expressing her love to him. And then over a period of time, she gets closer and closer to Krishna. I think her soul evolves because of her presence with Krishna. So she starts feeding a lot of sages and saints who go by, does seva, does a lot of good work. And in the meanwhile, the husband, he marries another lady and has children and has his own family, and he does not ever look back at this Anandi Bai. So now time goes on, and one day in the village of Gokul, there is a festival happening. And in the festival, there is a Krishna Leela being enacted, and everybody from the village is all excited to participate in the Krishna Leela. And Anandi Bai, when she hears something is happening which has got to do with her Krishna, her madness for Krishna, she just thinks, oh, it's my Krishna's play, how can I not be a part of it? So she rushes to the village center where all the people are sitting, and she says, I also want a part in this Krishna Leela that is being enacted. Her husband and his wife and the children are all also sitting there, with the villagers. So the husband mocks at her and says to the elderly people of the village, why don't you give her the role of Kubja? She's only deserving of that. I don't know how many of you know that, but Kubja is the the woman with the hunchback that Krishna had touched and healed when he was in Mathura. So the entire village laughs at her, and they say that yes, she's only worthy of being Kubja, ugly and terrible to look at. Give her the role. When people are mocking and laughing at her, Anandi Bai rushes back to her hut, and she dances and sings and celebrates Krishna. She is so happy that she is getting an opportunity to play a part in the Krishna Leela. She is not bothered that people were mocking at her or laughing at her or making fun of her being ugly. She is not bothered. She is only overflowing with love for her God, because there is nothing else in her life other than Him. Whatever she sees, wherever she is, it's only Him. What people say, what they do does not matter. Complete surrender to her Krishna, totally in love with Him. And finally the day comes. They've all practiced, and she's playing the role of Kubja. And then comes the scene where Krishna meets Kubja. Now there's a young boy who's playing the part of Krishna in that Krishna Leela, and the original story which comes from the Sur Sagar and also from the Bhagavad says that Krishna put his toe on the toe of Kubja, and after doing that he just lifted up her chin, and the hunchback started straightening and she stood up straight. So the same thing has to be enacted by this little boy in the play, because she's playing Kubja. So when he puts her toe on the toe and he puts his hand under her chin and lifts her up, when she stands straight, suddenly there is light around, and the lady starts getting transformed. The little child is also shocked to see what is happening in front of him. He's just playing Krishna, he is not Krishna. And then he sees that a beautiful woman adorned with jewelry, glowing and smiling, is standing in front of him. And the whole village turns and looks at her, and she also looks at herself in surprise and shock, what has happened. And then People say, oh my God, she has been blessed by Krishna. This is a miracle. How else can it happen? So the miracle happens, but the lady is yet again unaffected by it. When she was ugly and people mocked at her, she was not affected. Today, when people are celebrating her beauty and talking about it, she's still not affected. She's still happy that Krishna has blessed her, that Krishna loves her, that he has acknowledged her love for her. So she again goes back home, lives her normal life and starts serving Krishna, living with him, singing for him, dancing for him. And then she thanks Krishna and says, thank you that you made me ugly. If you had not made me so ugly, how would I know that you love me so much to today make me beautiful? You have done it because you love me. And if I was always beautiful, this would have never happened, Krishna. So thank you for that. And then she goes back to her husband and she says, I have come all the way just to thank you, because if you had not left me and dumped me the way you did, I would have never got my Krishna. I would have never got this love of Krishna, this life that I have today, the blessing that I have today. So thank you for leaving me. Thank you for not accepting me. You are the instrument for what good has come into my life. So when you reflect back on that story, it comes back to Baba's teachings, which he says all the time. And very strangely enough, why I am sharing this message today is because today morning, only in a conversation, Baba has said this to me. I was asking him, Baba, why? You know, when somebody does wrong and bad visibly and troubles come, okay, we know, we've done bad and problems are coming. Then sometimes when we look at problems and analyze them, we understand, oh, this is coming because I have to learn a lesson here. So maybe that is why it's coming over and over again to me. But then there is a third type of situation where you haven't done anything wrong and you can't figure out what the lesson is. Yet the problem comes to you. And then you say, Baba, now why is it coming this time? I'm not finding the lesson. I'm not finding the cause. What have I done to go through this? So I was talking to Baba and trying to understand this morning. And he just smiled and he said to me, because you can only see the problem, but I can see the larger good behind the problem which is coming. And I just went quiet and I said, oh, sorry, I was not even going that side, Baba. I was not even thinking about it. So today's story I've picked up because of this conversation with Baba to tell you that when we go through the worst phase and challenges of our life, what looks very bad may actually be very, very, very good. And actually what I should not even say may, because when he's sitting there as the mother, as the father, as the creator, as our God, as our guru, how can bad happen to us? It just looks bad in that moment. It tests us, it challenges us, it takes us through the worst situation possible, worst. But when you emerge out of it, you realize, oh my God, there was such a big good coming behind it. For those of you who've heard my videos on YouTube, I think I've said this in one of the videos, if I recall correctly, that when Baba was teaching me this for the first time, that there is always a good behind the bad, I asked him, Baba, okay, everything there is a good behind the bad, tell me about Rishi, the Rishi whose story you would have read in Sai Baba is Still Alive. Why, Baba, did Rishi meet with an accident? A young boy, good looking, handsome, studying well, doing well in school, coming from a good family, big accident, and he could never get back to normal. He still lives with the paralysis, his brain has still slowed down, he could never lead a normal life. Why? How can there be a good behind this now? And then Baba smiled and told me, oh my God, this has the largest good behind it, because his soul is an evolved soul which chose to suffer so that he could inspire millions. Today, millions of people across the world who've either read the book or come to know through YouTube videos or otherwise about Rishi are so inspired by his life and by Baba's blessings and presence in his life that they all say, oh, I will not give up. If Baba came to save Rishi, Baba will come to save me as well. And I get so many emails, so many messages of people who write to me saying, Didi, Baba has saved Rishi, so I will fight. I know he will come for me. I was on the verge of giving up. I was going to commit suicide, but I will live after reading the story. And then I realized, yes, Baba is right. Rishi's accident has become reason to motivate people across the globe. So there is always a good behind the bad. But because we are human, limited vision, we don't see it. So next time there is bad happening, let us not think it's bad. Let's take it as a blessing and wait for that what unfolds later, and then correlate in our heads. Go back and think, oh, this happened that time because this good had to come. If we start understanding life so beautifully, you will understand that nothing that looks like a problem is actually a problem. Everything is a blessing. So on that note, Ya Sai. Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Sham. Hai ati sundar tera naam, hai ati sundar Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai Ram, Sai Sham, Sai